Hi, thanks for joining me today. Today we're actually going to be talking about what affects the price per square foot if you're building a custom home. So if you're in the process of budgeting to build a custom home, I'm hoping this will help you. So we're going to talk about an example of a house that is 2,500 square feet and it's got 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. And we're going to compare it to a home that's 2,000 square feet that has the same amount of bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, and same amount of bathrooms. So we got 3 bathrooms in this one as well. And we're talking about the 3 primary factors that will affect the actual price per square foot. There's really, when someone says, hey, what's the price per square foot to build a custom home? Well, it could be all over the place. So, I mean, there's a bottom number where you can do super cheap. And then there's really no end in sight as far as how much money you can spend. So we're going to talk about the factors that will affect it. And then you can go to work figuring out what you need to do to hit your budget. So first thing is the actual square footage itself, okay? So the smaller home that has the same amount of bathrooms and the same size kitchen, and they have very similar finishes, is going to cost more per square foot. Now, kitchens and bathrooms are the highest cost square footage in the home. So if you were to take a full house and it was $250 a square foot to actually build that house, that's including all the open areas in the home. The areas that are actually the kitchen and the bathrooms are a lot more expensive per square foot than $250 a square foot to actually build those areas. So when you have the same amount of bathrooms and you have the same size kitchen in a 2,000 square foot house that you had in your 2,500 square foot house, the price per foot is going to be significantly higher on the 2,000 square foot home. So open footage is another term, and that's what I mentioned just a second ago, but the open areas in the home. So open footage would be like an area that is not a kitchen, not a bathroom. Those are areas like, say, your living room, or it could be bedroom space, or a den, whatever. But the whole idea is that open area is an area that doesn't have cabinets, doesn't have countertops, doesn't have plumbing. It's probably got reduced electrical. You probably still have to have some lighting to cover that area, but maybe there's not walls in there that are in that area. So it's got a lot less components in that open footage area, and that area is typically a lot cheaper. So if you are looking to cut costs and say the total build cost for, like, say, $250 a square foot, and you go, well, I'm gonna cut out 100 square feet right down the middle of my living room. I take a foot out of the living room, or 2 feet out of the living room, adds up to 100 square feet. You're not going to get the same amount of money as if you actually reduce an area in the kitchen back per square foot. You're not going to get $250 a square foot back because of that. You might get, say, 150 or so. You'd have to adjust it to figure out exactly what that number would be, but you're not going to get 250 because the 250, that's an average combined. The 250 is a combined average of a lot higher than 250 and lower than 250 for the open footage area. So your kitchens are a lot higher than that 250. So, all right, so the smaller house with the same amount of bathrooms, same size kitchen, is going to be more money per square foot than a larger one. So that's factor number 1, square footage. Number 2 is the number of bathrooms. So this kind of ties into number 1. So bathrooms are expensive square footage to build, like we just talked about. You are going to have if you have a 2,500 square foot house and that house has 2 bathrooms, and you have the same 2,500 square foot house that has 3 bathrooms, that 2,500 square foot house with the 2 baths is going to be cheaper. There's 1 less bathroom in that same home. So you can reduce the cost of your home by actually reducing the amount of bathrooms. Okay, so how much does the bathroom actually cost? So secondary baths add about $40,000 to the build costs plus. So you can go higher than that. Depends on the level of the finishes that are in the bathrooms. But $40,000 is kind of a good ballpark number to use. So take a bathroom out, say $40,000 bucks. Master baths can be they're typically a lot bigger, so you're gonna spend more money in them. You're gonna have nicer finishes and whatnot. So master baths at $80,000 plus the build costs. So say you had 2 masters in a house. Instead of adding 40 for that bathroom, you probably add 80 for that bathroom. So you got to determine on the size and what's actually in those bathrooms in order to kind of determine if it's a master bath or secondary bath. Okay, so factor number 2, number of bathrooms. So Same house, same square foot or same square footage, one less bathroom, secondary bath, compared to the other house. It's got 3 baths, 2 bedroom, 3 bath. You're gonna see about $40,000 in secondary bathroom. Okay, so that's factor number 2. Factor number 3 is going to be exterior and interior finishes. So we're talking about the level of the finishes that are in this home. So how nice is this house that you're building? So what do you want to put in it? So level of finishes, we typically look at them as like an average, a custom, and upscale finishes. So when you look at what is an average finish and what is an upscale finish, everybody has a different idea of what that is in their mind. We try to break them up in these levels here. I'm going to give you kind of the cheaper finishes that on the lower end that you put in like an average, and then I'll give you some of the upper scale finishes. The upper scale could go crazy, go really high, and then kind of in the middle of that is your custom. So you take your lower end, you take your upscale. Somewhere in the middle is a custom. So it just depends on it's just a ton of factors. So all right, so cheapest finishes, LVP flooring, so luxury vinyl plank flooring, vinyl windows, fiberglass showers, and then just have a basic drywall walls and ceiling in your house. Okay, pretty typical in-house. That's at kind of an average level of finish. All right, more expensive finishes. This is going to drive the cost up. It's going to start increasing the cost for you. So you got wood windows. You're going to have open beam ceilings, stained grade wood trim inside the house, stained or stone tile floors, elaborate tile showers. So maybe some exotic designs that are expensive to do, maybe expensive tile. It's going to drive the cost up. Radiant heat actually in the flooring. So if you've got a slab, putting radiant heat in. Your level 5 smooth drywall finishes. So if you want a really smooth finish on your walls, it's going to cost more money than if just having a skip trowel hand texture that's typical in a regular house. That would be kind of like an average level finish. Custom stone veneer. So on the outside of a home, this could be inside too. Walls that you do custom stone veneer on, that's going to cost quite a bit of money. So you could do a ton of. Some houses just have a little bit of wainscot on the outside. That's kind of typical, right? So just on the front, so you got a nice curved appeal to the house. But you start doing the whole wall, the whole face, the whole side of the house. Maybe you come inside and you do a nice foyer inside the house, and then that's going to start adding costs. So you start getting up into those custom level finishes. The price per foot just goes up and up and up. So, all right. So finishes will increase or decrease the price per square foot. So if you are looking at cutting costs, finishes will help you to pull that number down. That you're not going to get that you will be limited by the structure. So if this structure is sometimes structures are more complicated to build than others, you're going to only be able to pull it down so much. So finishes they'll account for a chunk of that money, but you won't be able to get it down lower unless you have if you were trying to go lower unless you have maybe a simpler structure. So something to think about at the very beginning would be, hey, I want to design this house most economical as I can, and talking to the structural engineer and the draftsman or the architect's drawing it and say, hey, look, we want to make this an economical build. We want to save some lumber. We want to, with lumber prices the way they are, we want to make sure that we are, doing this right. So, all right, so that's a brief rundown. 3 primary factors on price per square foot, the square footage itself, number of bathrooms, and exterior and interior finishes. So, hope that helps you. If you'd like more information about how we can help you, visit our website at tfgonline.com. Go to our resources tab, and you can get a ton of information about pricing for building custom homes, buying land. There's a ton of stuff there. Check out our FAQ, page 2. Everything's there. So, all right. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.